Hello everyone. Welcome to today's Hatha yoga class. So today we will just do a brief introduction to some of the basic movements of Hatha yoga so that you can familiarize yourself with its pace, with its priorities, with the way it emphasizes your relationship to your movements and your breath. So to give you a bit of background about Hatha, it's described as the foundation of all other yogas, and so it's quite ancient in its outlook. So even the word Hatha, so Ha, the beginning of the word, means sun, and Tha means moon. So in yoga, the right side of your body is your sun side, and the left is your moon side. And so that is kind of perceived similar to yin and yang. And the goal within Hatha yoga is to bring balance to those two energies within the body. And so you'll find that Hatha moves quite slowly, which allows you to really take time to connect with your body in each pose, to examine what your body is experiencing throughout each movement. And then at the end, hopefully it results in a change from your body at the beginning to your body at the end. So I've put some links to some suggested music in the chat if you feel like that would be a good accompaniment to your practice. And the basic structure of the class will begin by going through a series of joint movements to free up any stiffness in the joints. And then we'll do some energy activation poses, which will bring some heat into the body, particularly through the core. And then we'll do a few standing poses, a few seated poses, and then we'll move into Savasana. And also, if you ever at any point in the practice feel tired or as if you need a break, feel free to enter child's pose and give yourself a bit of a rest. Yoga always, it's always important in yoga to be listening to your body, and so to know when to give yourself a bit of a moment to recover from anything you've been experiencing throughout the practice. So with that being said, let's begin. So you can come to a seated position on your mat with your legs straight out in front of you. And as I said, we'll begin with joint movements. And so the first joints that we'll work on are the toes, and then we'll work all the way up through the legs and up to the head. So to begin with the toes, we'll start by curling the toes outwards. And you want to curl them outwards really to the maximum degree possible. And then flexing your toes inwards. Curling the toes outwards and flexing the toes inwards. Continue curling and flexing your toes. And while you're doing so, try to make sure that you're continuing to breathe in and out deeply. few more times. And now we'll move on to the ankles. So we'll begin by moving the ankles just forward and back. So pointing the toes outwards and inhaling, flexing the feet back towards the face. Exhale, point the toes out. Inhale, flex the feet back towards your face. Exhale, point out. Inhale, back towards your face. And continue a few more times. Wonderful. Now we'll begin with ankle rotation. So rotating the feet from the ankle in a clockwise direction. Again, moving very slowly. And continuing to breathe deeply. Maybe you're inhaling as the feet come towards you, and exhaling as they move away. And again, trying to move the feet to the maximum degree possible. Really giving your ankles a nice stretch. A few more times. And going in the opposite direction. A few more times. Wonderful. And now we'll move on to our knees. So you can bend your right leg and hold from behind the hamstrings with your forearms. And keeping your left leg engaged. So you want to keep your knee completely straight on your left leg and keep your foot activated so that your toes are pointing back towards your body. And on an inhale, you're going to straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling as far as you can. And exhale, bending your right leg back down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And continue a few more times. Really feeling the stretch coming into the hamstrings. And on an inhale, we're going to hold the foot up and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And as you come down, we'll begin a knee rotation. So rotating the shin in a clockwise direction. Exhaling on the way down. and inhaling on the way up. And you always want to be inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. A few more times in the clockwise direction. And switching directions. And throughout this, you want to keep your back as straight as possible. So as you're pulling your leg in, you want to avoid letting your back hunch. So keep the spine nice and straight. And if the leg doesn't come all the way to the chest, that's fine, but the priority is to keep the back as straight as possible. Okay, and now we'll release from that. But before we let the right leg go completely, we'll do a bit of a hip opener. So for this, you want to be holding your shin so that it's parallel with the floor. And you can either hold the left leg with the left hand, as it's comfortable for you, or you can hook the left or the right foot into the left elbow, if you can see how I'm holding mine, and then the right knee will go into the right elbow. So you either have your right foot supported with your left hand or with your left elbow, and then you'll start to rock back and forth and continuing to breathe. We'll just do this for about 30 seconds. You can also feel a stretch through the outside muscle of the hip with this. And again, keeping the back as straight as possible. Maybe we do this for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. And you can shake out your legs a bit. So now we'll move on to the knee movements on the left side. So holding the hamstring with the forearms, and again, keeping the right knee locked and the foot engaged. We'll straighten the left leg up towards the ceiling and inhale. And exhale, bending the knee back down towards the floor. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Continue a few more times. Maybe 2 more. And on an inhale, holding the leg up, and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now rotating the shin in a clockwise direction, exhaling on the way down, and inhaling on the way up. Keeping the spine straight. And changing directions. And one more. And now bringing the right foot down, and again placing the left knee into the left elbow. And then you can either hold the right foot with the right hand, or you can get your, left foot with the right hand, or you can get your left foot into your right elbow, and then rocking back and forth, starting to stretch out that left hip, and keeping the spine straight, and breathing deeply. They would often encourage us to breathe soundfully at my yoga course. So if you can make a noise on your exhale, and maybe 10 more seconds. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And shaking out the legs. So now we will bring the feet in for butterfly position. I'll turn towards the camera so you can see a bit better. So bringing the feet together and pulling them in towards the body. And you can hold your toes with both hands, sitting up, keeping the back straight. And we'll start to move our knees up and down, loosening up the hips a bit more. And now you can start to move, increase the movement. So maybe your knees hit the floor, and the knees maybe come up higher than they were before. And slowly bringing that to a close. And you can either stay in butterfly, or you can come to another comfortable seated position. We'll carry on with the joint movements to do the fingers, the wrists, the elbows, and the neck. So extending the arms upwards. You can begin by stretching out your fingers as far as you can, and inhaling deeply. And then clenching the fingers as you exhale. Inhale, stretching the fingers, and exhale, clenching. Inhale, stretching, and exhale, clenching. Inhale, stretching, and exhale, clenching. Inhale, stretching, exhale, clenching, and a few more times. And now rotating the wrists, continuing to breathe and keeping your elbows straight. It's getting quite warm in here over in London. It's quite sunny out today. And wrists going in the other direction. And now bringing the hands down to the shoulders. We'll start to do some shoulder rotations. So inhaling, bringing the elbows together, front and up, and exhaling, sending the elbows back and down. Inhale, elbows front and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, front and up. And carry on at a pace that feels right for you. And trying to extend the elbows to the fullest range of motion that is possible for you. Really feeling your chest open up. I really love this stretch for some reason. It just always feels so good. And a few more times in this direction. And reverse direction, so back and up, front and down. A few more times. Okay, wonderful. And we'll finish the neck, the joint movements by activating the neck. So on an inhale, we're gonna turn the head over to the right. And an exhale, bringing the head back to center. Inhale, head to the left. Exhale, back to center. And carry on at a pace that feels right for you. And when you're working with the neck, you only want to move to about 80% of your mobility, just because the neck is such a sensitive joint. So avoid going to the maximum And now we'll tip the head to send the right ear towards the right shoulder and bring the head back up. Left ear to the left shoulder, head back up, right ear and up, left ear and up, right ear and up, left ear, up. And now we'll send the chin down to the chest. And inhale, chin up towards the ceiling. Exhale, chin to the chest. Inhale, chin towards the ceiling. Exhale, chin to the chest. Inhale, chin up. One more time, chin down. And chin up. And now we'll rotate the head in a clockwise direction a few times. Continuing to breathe. Really being careful with your neck. It can feel really good sometimes to stretch the neck, but that can encourage us to take it a bit too far sometimes. And in the other direction. One more time around. Wonderful. So that was all the joint movements. Hopefully you feel all loosened up. And now we'll start to do some energy activations. So stimulating the abdomen. The first one that we'll start with is called rowing the boat, Nauka Sanchalanasana. So as you can imagine, it'll be a lot like rowing a boat. You'll sit with your legs out in front of you, and you can extend your arms up over your head, making a fist as if you're holding oars. And on an exhale, you fold forward, reaching the hands out in front of you. And on an inhale, leaning back, bringing the arms up over your head. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, and continue. Really extending your back as far back as you can. And keeping your legs activated as you're doing this. So the toes should be pointing in towards the face. And you can start to speed up a bit, maybe. And a few more going forward. And then you can reverse directions. So bringing the arms up and back, and then inhaling down in front. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, down in front. Inhale, up and back. exhale down in front. And continue going slowly at first. And now you can speed up a bit. I'm really getting quite warm. I don't know about you. And a few more times in this direction. Okay, and slowly bringing that to a close. Well done. So now we'll do a bit of a seated twisting pose. So if you bring your feet to the width of the mat, flex your feet, and we're going to reach our left hand towards the right big toe. And again, the priority is to keep the back straight while you're doing this. So if you can't reach your toe, feel free to reach for the shin or the knee, however your body is communicating with you. So left hand on the right leg, and then the right arm extended out behind, and turning your head to gaze out at the right hand, or at least in that direction. You should feel a really nice twist through your abdomen, which feels quite nice after all of that rowing. And continuing to breathe. And now changing to the other side. The right hand holding the left toe and the left arm extending out behind you. Keeping the back straight and gazing out towards the left hand. And switching back to the first side again. We'll hold it for a bit shorter this time. And switching to the second side. And now we'll do a dynamic form of the pose. So maybe inhaling on the right side and exhaling on the left side. Really get some movement into the body. Still keeping the knees straight and the back straight. You should feel a twist all the way from the base of your spine up through your neck. And a few more times either side. One more. And coming back to center. Wonderful. So now we'll come to all fours and do a bit of cat-cow. So your wrists should be directly under your shoulders and your knees directly under your hips. And the movement should always begin at the tailbone So allow the tailbone to initiate the movement, and then the rest of the spine will follow. So on an inhale, beginning with the tailbone, we come into cow. And on an exhale, again beginning with the tailbone, we come into cat. And inhaling cow, really tipping that head up towards the sky to include your neck. Exhale, arching into cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And now we'll include the legs to do tiger pose, which is basically a modification of cat-cow. So on an exhale, bringing the knee to the chest. And on an inhale, coming into cow and extending the leg up behind you. Exhale, knee to the chest. Inhale, knee up and back. Exhale, knee to the chest. Inhale, knee up and back. Exhale, knee to the chest. Inhale, up and back. A few more times. And when you bring the knee up, the foot should be heading in the direction of the head, although not necessarily getting there. And bringing the right knee down and moving on to the left side. So exhale, knee to the chest. Inhale, knee up and back. Exhale, knee to the chest. Inhale, up and back. Yes, as you can see, my foot is quite far from my head. So don't push yourself to strive for that. But just so that you know where the pose is heading. And a few more times. And one more. Okay. So we'll do a bit of a hip opener. You can bring your right foot in between your hands, and we'll just bounce up and down, bringing some movement into the hips. We'll do this for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And you can switch legs, bring the left foot in between the hands. And bringing that movement into the left side. And continuing to breathe. And we'll do this for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, maybe we come back to child's pose for a few moments. Taking a few deep breaths. Okay, coming back up to seated. And we'll start to wind down a bit. So again, coming to seated with the legs straight out in front. We'll do Paschimottanasana, forward fold. So raising the arms up over the head and bending from the hips rather than from the back. You want to fold forward, and as you're folding forward, reach out in front of you as far as you can. If you reach as you go down, it ensures that you keep your back as straight as you can for as long as you can. You eventually will need to bring an arch into your back as you get farther down into the pose, but keeping that back straight will make sure you're putting pressure in the right places on the back. So really calming down, letting your face drop towards your knees. Continuing to take deep breaths. Maybe with every exhale, you find that you can go farther into the stretch. Okay, on an inhale, coming up. And we'll quickly do the counter pose for Paschimottanasana. So placing the hands behind you with the fingers pointing in towards the body. We'll lift the hips up off the mat. Let the head hang back and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bringing the hips back down. So now we'll lay down and do a bit of a supine twist, and then we'll take a few minutes for Savasana. So laying down on the mat, doesn't that feel nice? Bending the knees up. And shifting the hips over to the right. You can let your knees fall over to the left. And you can either have the arms extending to the sides, or you can have them in cactus pose, or if you want to increase the stretch, you can place your left hand on your knees and pull them towards the floor. And turning the right head towards the right hand. Let yourself just relax into the twist. Turning your head if that feels good. And continuing to breathe deeply. Although your breathing may be slowing down. And bringing the knees up, shifting the hips to the other side, and allowing the knees to fall to the right side. You have the same options with the arms, either out to the sides, in cactus, or placing the right hand on the knees, and tipping the head over to the left-hand side. Okay, and bringing the knees back up. Extending the legs and arriving in Savasana. You can take a quick scan of your body, observing your arms, your legs, your core. See if you can find any places that you're holding tension and try to let that go. We'll stay here for a few minutes. Allowing the practice to absorb into the body. And allowing yourself to look inward. And maybe you start to move your fingers and toes. And slowly bringing some movement into your ankles and wrists. And reaching your arms up over your head. really making your body as long as possible. And rolling over to your left side, using your left arm as a pillow. Taking a few moments. And when you're ready, pushing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Keeping your eyes closed. Bringing your hands to your chest and rubbing them together. And then use your hands to spread that heat to the rest of your body, to your arms, to your abdomen, to your legs and to your feet. And rubbing your hands together again. Covering your eyes. Blinking your eyes open behind your hands. And finally, taking your hands away from your face. And coming back into this space. Taking a moment to see how you might feel different from the beginning of the class to the end. And entering back into the day. Namaste. Ooh, I definitely got some energy activated there. Thank you everyone for joining that class today. I hope you enjoyed it and you feel energized and your muscles and joints feel activated. Next week we are going to do a focus on sun salutations. So in Hatha, sun salutations are a bit different than you might have done in other forms of yoga. So we'll be doing some joint movements and some warm-ups, and then we'll really get into what is going on with Hatha sun salutations. So hope you join us then, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you again for joining the class today. Much appreciated. Namaste.